Hello, and welcome to Dickinson's Real Deal. On this show, we help members of the public get the very best price for their antiques and valuables. We sit you down with one of our regular dealers. Now, they're going to try and buy your treasures off for you for a cash sum on the table today.
£400?
Not quite there, no.
Oh, Alan, you're hurting me now.
If I don't think that's enough money, I'm going to say to you, reject that offer. Have a gamble. Go to auction. We just might get you a little bit more money there.
£500 and sold then.
Today, the show comes to you from Bangor in North Wales. There's a great crowd of people here. They've brought along their treasures. They are determined to do business, to walk away with cash or gamble at auction. They want the real deal.
With such a great turnout, it doesn't take long for our dealers to find items they take a shine to. But it's James Late who spots something first.
Silver christening mug, quite a nice thing. I love the shape. It's very unusual, so I'll have a go at that. Who knows?
And it seems there's some mutual admiration.
It's a great pleasure to be here today. I watch the programme regularly, and James, I have to say, is one of the people that I enjoy watching, and I'm glad I've been paired up with him.
Let's hope you feel the same way, Jerry, once James starts putting money on the table.
Pnawn da, a croeso I Gymru.
Well, thank you very much. Can you translate?
I can. It's good afternoon, pnawn da, or actually it's afternoon good. It's the opposite to English.
I knew Welsh was odd.
And croeso I Gymru means welcome to Wales.
Welcome to Wales,
and
yeah.
you're in the heartland of Welsh-speaking Wales around here. 80% of the population use Welsh as the first language, the everyday language.
Good. Well, so can we
Sorry to confuse you.
Can we conduct the rest of this in English? Is that all right?
Oh, yes, indeed.
So is this a Welsh mug?
No, it's not, actually. It's from my father's side of the family.
Oh, George Gerard Baker.
Yes.
So this was his christening mug. And
That was his christening
what was he to you, this guy?
My grandfather.
He was your grandfather?
Yes.
Right, OK. So why do you want to sell it? No
Well,
sentimental attachment?
No, I've inherited such a lot of stuff that now I'm coming up to downsizing for retirement.
Right.
I need to get
rid of some of it.
Yes. So if your offer is good,
We'll
I'll pass
see.
company with it.
I think it's a very nice shape. I like that sort of Gothic-y shape and all this sort of almost Pugilist decoration on it.
Yes.
I have to say that for the next person, this engraving is not good.
Indeed.
Sadly. So I'm afraid that'll probably disappear at some point. So the mark is for 1853, so it was kind of second-hand when he got it in 1864.
Yes, I guess it was, yeah.
But that doesn't matter, does it? I mean,
No.
I think it's a nice
What's
thing.
a few years between friends?
Who cares, exactly. I think it's a pretty mug, not very heavy, not much value in the bullion, but it's still quite a nice collector's item.
Yes, yes.
So we'll put a bit of money on the table and have one of those to start with.
Ooh. Good start.
Yep. £60.
I often hear people on the programme saying, I'd like a little bit more. I'm going to be greedy and say, I'd like a lot more, please.
Oh, a lot more?
Yes.
Oh dear.
Jerry,
Hello,
what a
David.
delightful little christening present. 120, 150 is what they're saying. Bit low.
It's an opening gambit.
There we go. Yes. We've all got to start somewhere.
We have, yeah. OK. 70, 80, 90, 100, Jerry. That's a lot more.
It is. I'll give you that. Not quite enough for me, though.
Oh dear, oh dear. You're going to be a difficult customer, I can tell.
My wife tells me it can be very difficult.
I think she's right.
It's got a lot of style about it, hasn't it? I think it's
It
worth a
has.
little bit more.
I like you.
So we've got 100. I'll put 20 down, 120.
Can I wring a little bit more out of you?
Oh, I think 120 is probably about... I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put another tenner down. 130, and I think that's it.
And maybe you'd pay the bus fare for a pensioner to get home?
You don't need a bus fare if you're a pensioner. I know your sort.
Just testing.
It's just testing, yes.
Maybe if you swap that for one of these, I'll shake hands on 140.
You'll shake hands at 140?
I will, yes.
So you want another tenner down there,
Yes.
do
More if you like.
you? No, certainly not. There's your bus fare.
OK, we'll shake.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed,
I think
James.
it's a lovely thing.
Great pleasure to have met you.
You've made me pay too much for it.
He's gone up a notch or two in my estimation, as if he could already, but he's actually made me a very fair deal, so I'm very happy to sell to him.
I think I paid a lot for it. I think it's a very full price. But never mind, it's a nice thing and someone else will love it, I know.
Confident prediction, James. We'll find out later if you're on the money. Next, it's an equally confident Mark Stevens who's got his game plan all worked out.
It is what it is. It has a value, but no more. It's one of those pieces of jewellery that I know exactly to the penny what it's worth, and it's all down to weight.
I'm looking to get a good few £100 if I can, and just hope for the best, basically.
A good attitude to have in the den, Alan. Let the dealing commence.
Now, a 9-carat gold Albert chain, is it something that you've bought for yourself, or is it something that's been passed down through the family?
It's something that's been passed down through the family.
OK. Belonged to your grandfather?
It certainly did, yes.
Did he wear it?
I presume he did. I have no recollection of him wearing it, but I presume he did.
Because normally, rather than having this little fob at the end, would have had a pocket watch.
Yes, I have the pocket watch at home.
Why do you bring it in?
It's broken.
But is it gold?
I don't think so.
OK. This is kind of dating from 1920, 1930. This piece here has been added. It's nothing to do with the actual chain.
Yeah.
Because if we turn that over here, this is fully hallmarked for Chester.
Yeah. Oh, right.
And this piece isn't. This is probably made in Birmingham or London,
Right.
the actual chain. But every link is hallmarked 3759, which
Right.
is lovely because the hallmarking act nowadays, when I think it was brought in the 1930s, stated that any piece of metal had to be hallmarked. So we know every piece of that chain is proper 9-carat gold. So we've really come to the point that we've got to put some money on the table. What do you think?
Yes, go ahead.
But what's going to happen with the money? What are you going to do with it, Alan?
We're looking to go on holidays to Las Vegas.
You're not going to gamble the lot away.
No.
So I better put some money on the table.
Oh.
Oh, right, let's see what we've
yes.
got. 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, but I haven't finished, Alan. I've got to get some more. 300, 350, 400 pounds. But we've got to change the colour a little bit now, Alan. There's 420 pounds on the table.
Not quite there, no.
Oh, Alan, you're hurting me now.
Yes. A couple more, perhaps maybe change the colour again, perhaps?
Oh, there's a little word that I love to use in this business, profit.
Yes.
And I have to get a little profit. I tell you what I do, Alan. £440. So what do you think of that, Alan? Oh, don't say a word. Here comes David.
Don't say a word. OK, 9-carat gold, a clean commercial item. As always, Mark likes his gold. He gives good prices for it. The independent valuers are saying £400 to £500. So I'm going to say to you, it's right on the money. This boy knows his gold and he gives fair prices.
You've heard that bit of advice? We've got a deal, haven't we? Come on, I can feel it. We got a deal? Come on, Alan.
Vegas is appealing to me. We'll do a deal, yeah.
On one condition, you don't spend it all in Vegas.
Oh, no.
Great, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alan.
Back in the den, it takes more than a famous name to get Debbie Serple fired up.
Royal Worcester, fantastic name. However, the downside for me is it's not an early piece.
See what happens so we can get some money out of her. But she looks like she's got a big bag with her today, so let's see what's in it, yeah?
Give it your best shot, James.
James, you brought in a piece of Royal Worcester today.
Yeah.
Tell me how you've come to have it.
It's my mother-in-law's, it is. She inherited this from her grandmother.
Right.
So, and that's all I really know about it, to be honest, you know. That's all
And
I really
the
know.
mother-in-law knows you've got it here.
I'm bringing it in for her, yeah. She's actually with me, yeah.
You could be in some trouble
I
there.
know, yeah, I know, yeah.
Well, what you've got is a very typical piece of Royal Worcester. I've had a look at the mark on the bottom. They're always very well marked. Made in England
Right.
tells me that it's 20th century, and certainly this piece probably dates to about the 1950s, that sort of period. So it's not fantastically old. It does very definitely fall into the group of collectibles, and people are very fond of Royal Worcester.
Right.
because of the quality of the paintwork. None of this is done by transfer decoration.
By hand.
It's all done by hand. And I believe the lady who was involved in decorating this piece is a lady called Kitty Blake.
Right.
And there's her signature,
Oh, right.
Kitty Blake.
I didn't even notice that on there.
It's the first time you've seen it.
Yeah.
My reservation about it is going to be that it's not as early as I'd like it to be. And I will make you an offer, and you know you always have the option of going to auction.
Yeah.
So do stop me if you think I've put too much down, won't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your bag's looking pretty big anyway.
Right. 50 quid, James.
Sorry, no.
You said that so quickly.
I've got an idea.
You have?
Yeah, I've got an idea. Yeah.
You have, okay. £70.
It's still a fair way off there, to be honest. Yeah.
A fair way.
A fair way off, yeah.
I'm going to put another 10 down. So that's 80 on the table. How do you feel about that? Oh, here's David to give us some advice.
Well, what do you think? I mean, I think it's probably a little bit on the low side. The independent values, they're both in and around that 100 to 180. There are collectors of this type of porcelain. If anything, I think perhaps this later Worcester is starting to find its feet, and there are collectors. Right. So I'm going to say it wants to be a bit over the £100. Yeah. But it may be that our dealer is not finished. He's very canny. The money comes out very steadily and slowly. So I'm going to go away and see if any more is going down. But if there's no more money on the table, it is worth a gamble. There is no guarantee. I point this out to you, but I think it can do a bit better.
So what do you think?
Well, could you add a bit more?
I'm going to stick at 80 and see what you think.
So I'll take it to auction then.
Take it to auction.
Yeah.
I wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
I think David's advice is sound, because if you get two collectors at auction, it could fetch a lot more than that. Yeah. So good luck. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks again. Cheers.
Okay.
My orders were not to leave without £100, so hopefully anything 100 or more will be great, you know, for the brother-in-law. Put a smile on the face.
Will James keep the mother-in-law happy? We'll find out after the break. Also coming up,
I'm blushing now.
what's got our James in a fluster? See you in a few minutes.
Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal from North Wales.
Before the break, James turned down Debbie's offer for his mother-in-law's Royal Worcester vase.
Could you add a bit more?
I'm going to stick at 80.
I'll take it to auction then.
He had his orders not to accept anything less than £100.
Hopefully anything 100 or more will be great, you know, for the brother-in-law. Put a smile on the face.
So, is it the right decision?
James, on the dealer's day, you brought along a very nice piece of Royal Worcester, a blush ivory ground trumpet vase, but what was nice about it, great decoration, brambles on it, and it was signed by Blake, K. Blake. Debbie offered you £80. Now, you obviously weren't impressed with that. No. Well, I don't blame you, because it's a nice, quality, desirable item. I have a feeling this is going to do well. I think our dealer Debbie wasn't right about this. I think this is a great thing. It's coming up now.
Lot 35, the Royal Worcester Kitty Blake vase, bids are me straight in at £100 at 100. At 100 bid 110, 120, 130, 140.
There is plenty of people bidding here. They're all over the room. There's hands in the air.
190, 200. £200, 210, 210 bid. I'm out now at 210.
You were right to turn down the offer of £80 and to gamble.
210, hammers up at 210. 210.
Good news, 210 is the gross price. That's brought a smile to his face, with £184 to come back. First of all, are you satisfied?
Very, yeah.
On this occasion, £210 was the real deal, and you're going home with £184. That's a nice deal.
And you'll be in the mother-in-law's good books. Phew. In the frame next is Janice Kehoe with Betty's oil painting.
I'm hoping to get anything over £100 for it.
I've never come across the artist before. It looks like a 30s piece. We'll see where we go. Hello, Betty, and what have you brought for me today?
I brought an oil painting by Edward Hartley Mooney. It belonged to my father-in-law, who's since died. Mooney had a house with a studio on the back, and on his death, my father-in-law approached his sister and asked could he buy the house, and he bought the house. Strangely enough, my mother then didn't know, we weren't married, and she bought the picture. So when we got married, she actually gave it to my father-in-law.
Oh, goodness.
So it's a strange story, really. So we've had it on our wall, but we're downsizing.
Right, well, let's have a look at this picture. I think it was painted, looking at it, probably about in the mid-30s.
I think so.
Is that about right?
Yes, I think so.
It's an interesting scene. It's, is it Lakeland or is it the Welsh Valleys, do you think?
I've no idea.
Yeah. It's a church in a valley.
Oh, it's a nice picture.
And he signed it in the corner, Edward Hartley Mooney.
There's only one of them.
Yeah. Well, it's painted in oils and it's in reasonable condition. I think it probably could do with a bit of a clean. Right, do you know what you would like for the picture?
Well, I'd like you to offer me
All
something.
right, okay. Right, if we start off, 20, 40, £50.
We're talking about an oil painting.
Well, we are talking about an oil painting, but...
I'd like more than that.
You'd like more
yes,
than that?
I would,
okay.
yes.
Well, if I take the 10 away, we'll go to 60, we'll go to £70.
I'd like a bit more.
A little bit more?
Yes.
Now, here's David to give you some advice.
Oh,
Right, now, just before you make a decision, let me tell you, I've just run back to our independent values to see what kind of history this man has got. He is recorded in the sale rooms. They're only very modest prices. 80 to 120 is what our independent valuers are saying. You have
70.
£70 on the table. Not a bad offer. Should you want to gamble, you can do, but will you do any better? My feeling is it doesn't jump at you, it doesn't say buy me.
Betty, what would you like to do?
Could you not give me another 10?
I can't, really. If
Nothing
I'm
at
being
all?
frank, that I see is the money for the picture.
Right.
If you want to take it to auction and gamble, I mean, two people might decide they really want it.
With reluctance, I'll take the offer.
All right, we've got a deal.
Yes,
Thank you very much, Betty.
Thanks a lot.
Back in the den, James has something rather peculiar brewing on his table.
Sets of saccharometers are virtually unsaleable these days.
It'll be strange parting with it, but I've had it a long time, and I think it's time it went to somebody who's more interested in these things.
Still none the wiser? Well, with the Duke and auctioneer Simon Bauer looking on, all will be revealed.
So what have you brought along?
It's a set of sacchrometers.
So what do you know about them?
They were used in a brewery that closed down, and a friend of ours knew we were interested in antique, so he decided that we might like them.
You were going to be the lucky winner?
Yes.
So do you know how they're used?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just to tell everybody, they're for determining the amount of sugar in a brew before fermentation, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So this tells you pounds of sugar per gallon or something like that. It's quite a complicated thing. Doesn't make them more valuable, though.
Oh. Disappointing.
These are quite common because every brewery and every pub in the world had them. This is quite nice, having the original. Is this a testing?
I think
that's a testing certificate.
That's when they were last calibrated.
From 1915. Yeah. So I just see that on the lid it says W. Reeves, who's the maker. Very fragile things, used roughly in breweries. So always getting smashed. So you've got two different makers in here. You've got an Armstrong and a Long. Doesn't really make any difference to the value. If you were a very pernickety collector, you'd like to have them all by the same maker that's on the lid.
Now, for all those viewers that like a bit of a tipple, you'll know exactly what this is. I'm reliably told it is a saccharometer. And that's to do with the brewing and the preparing of beer. Nice looking item, nicely cased, nice box. But I presume they don't do that well at auction.
Well, you're not going to have a huge market of collectors for it, but I agree the quality of the box, paperwork as well, and it's complete.
Yeah.
It all adds to it, doesn't it?
It does. OK, where are you going to place your estimate?
I think just as a novelty, it's got to be £40, £50.
Well, the independent values, they say 40 to 60. And in fairness, I must tell you, we have placed our seller with James, one of our dealers, because we know this is an area that he understands, so we think that he could be the perfect buyer for this. Let's see what James, with all his knowledge, is going to put on the table.
So let's put some money on the table. Are you an antique collector?
Yes, I have quite a few things.
If I buy these, you'll reinvest the money, will you?
Probably.
10, 20, 30, £40.
I don't think so. I think a little bit more than that.
It's only going to be a little bit more. I'll try one more. £50, and that really is as much as I want to pay for them, because I know these things well, and they're quite common and not terribly saleable. But anyway, David knows all about them.
Well, I've just heard what James has got to say, and he's quite right. Now, the independent values have got it between 40 and 60, which I think is right. James is smack on the money there, £50 cash. There's a lot there for 50 quid, but they're not the easiest thing to sell. So I am going to say to you, I don't believe you would do much better by going to auction. James, thank you once again. Good, sound offer from a dealer that knows his stuff.
I'm blushing now. I mean, that's it really. I think David said exactly what I feel. Yeah. So that's as far as I want to go. But you know, you can still gamble.
I think we've got a deal.
We've got a deal, okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks very much for bringing them.
You're welcome.
Nice to talk to you.
Thank you. I think that was a fair deal, and I'm pleased to be rid of them, I think. I didn't want them anymore.
I don't know how she bumped me into buying them, but I've got them now. I'm going to struggle to get out of trouble. I might make a tenner if I'm lucky, but bad move.
You need your wits about you in the den. Coming up, two canny sellers try to show our dealers how to make a profit.
I acquired them a few months ago in a charity shop.
I bought it from a well-known charity shop.
But will they be able to cash in? Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal. Today we're in the historic city of Bangor, North Wales, where the locals have turned out in force with their antiques and valuables. Something for the ladies next, but will Debbie find Mary and granddaughter Catherine's collection attractive?
You brought with you this large collection of dressing table items. Tell me where they came from, Mary.
They came from my mother-in-law when she was alive. I admired them and she left them for me. Yeah.
And have you used them?
No. They've been in a display cabinet.
And Catherine, are you quite happy that Grandma is getting rid of the
very
heirlooms?
happy, yeah.
You're very happy? Nothing there that you'd want to use or keep?
Nothing, no.
I've had a look at them. It's quite a mixture of a collection. For example, this little piece. Do you know what this is, Mary?
No, I presumed it was a button hook thing.
Well, inside you've got a little hook. That's for doing up the buttons on your gloves.
Oh, gloves?
It's
I
a
never
glove
thought of that.
But this would never have been with this. Because this is for holding a pair of scissors.
All right.
So what's happened is you've ended up with a really sweet little collection of sort of odds and ends, which together are quite exciting, but as individual pieces, they're not worth an awful lot. The other thing is, this little stand here has got an assay mark for Birmingham, and some of these have got assay marks for Birmingham, but different years.
Oh, yeah.
And some have got no assay marks, and some have got sterling marks, which tells you it's silver, but from America.
Right.
So what I would think has happened is that your mother-in-law has very cleverly found lots of little bits and pieces to put onto her stand. But as a dealer, the ideal thing would be to have a collection with all the same assay marks that had always lived together. So I'm going to put some money on the table, and you're going to help Grandma with the deciding. How about we start with £50?
A bit more of that, please.
A bit more?
Yeah.
£70 for the collection.
You didn't include this in the description.
In the
is that
discussion.
special or not?
Well, it's a nice little scent bottle. I am including it in my thinking.
Sure?
So thanks for pointing it out. Right, how would £80 do?
Bit more.
A bit more.
Possible.
I'm going to go one more 10, and I think that's about where I want to be. What do you think, Mary?
Deal. Deal.
Are you got a deal?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Deal.
Thank you so much, and thanks for coming on. Thank you. All the best.
Back in the den, Martin's banking on a mammoth offer from James for his Beswick elephant.
I'm very much looking forward to meeting the dealer and hopefully getting a good price for my elephant.
I have bought 1 or 2 bits of Beswick before in my time. I've never paid very much for them, though. So I see no reason to change today. So what's the story of this elephant?
I acquired him a few months ago in a charity shop.
Charity shop?
Indeed, it's in the window of a charity shop. I find myself collecting elephants. I have quite a large collection of them, and I thought it would make a good addition. But when I put him in the collection, he's so much bigger than all the other elephants. He kind of just
out of scale with the rest of the collection.
Really out of scale, yeah.
Yes, I can see he'd be a bit out of place. So charity shop buy.
Indeed.
So was it nice and cheap?
It was cheap enough, I suppose.
Yes.
But I'm on a
You're not
small
going to tell
income.
me how much you paid for it, obviously.
I'll tell you afterwards.
Afterwards, yes. So can we have a look at the bottom?
Certainly.
And it's marked Beswick, England. And has it got the potter's marks or the decorator's marks on the bottom? Have you researched that?
I haven't managed to find out who decorated it.
No. And the date?
We
1980?
believe somewhere between the 70s and the 80s.
70s and 80s, yeah. I'm not a great expert on Beswick, so I'm kind of slightly flying in the dark here. So what are you going to do with the money? You're going to reinvest it in smaller elephants?
Smaller elephants, indeed, yes.
Good. So do you haunt all the charity shops looking for small elephants?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, well, we'll see what we can do. Just tell me when to stop, really. Actually, I think I'll tell myself when to stop. 20, 40, £50.
It's a very reasonable opening offer.
Is it? I'm glad you think so.
I think it's very reasonable.
But?
A shade more, is that possible?
More. I'll try one more. So I'll put another one down, so that's 60.
Yep, that seems very
happy
reasonable.
with that?
I'm very happy with that.
Well, we've got
Thank
a
you
deal
very
then.
much.
Thank you very much. Now you can tell me how much you paid for it.
I paid £20 for him.
20? That's
Indeed.
a bargain.
Indeed.
I'll take some of this back.
Oh, I'm very happy. I think I've definitely achieved the real deal today.
I have bought the elephant in the room. Was it a mistake? I don't know, probably.
Come on, James, you've not even tried to sell it yet. Across the den, Janice is with Keith. Can he play the dealers at their own game too?
I've got a Royal Dalton vase in today, which I bought very cheap and home to me, 3 figures.
It's a nice piece, it's unusual, but unfortunately at the moment the prices are a bit flat. I would like to buy it, but we'll see how we go.
Let the haggling commence.
Hi Keith, what have you brought me today?
I've brought in a Dalton Lambeth vase by well-known maker Frank Butler.
Yeah, okay. And how long have you had this piece?
About 5 weeks now.
About 5 weeks?
Yes.
Where did you buy it?
I bought it from a well-known charity shop.
Charity shop. And you're not going to tell me how much you paid for it?
I'll tell you at the end.
Tell me at the end?
Yes.
Okie doke, well let's have a look. It's a lovely piece of Dalton Lambeth stoneware. It's signed on the bottom, and I think the actual maker was Frank Butler. It's late 19th century, but it's in lovely condition.
I thought that as well.
It's a nice piece of high Art Nouveau pottery. It's got some really very detailed working all the way round, which would have taken an awful long time to do. It really is a good example of the Staffordshire pottery at its best.
Yeah, yeah.
If I did buy this item from you, what would you do with the money?
Well, I suppose we'll have a nice weekend away.
Well, that's a bit optimistic. We'll see what we can do. I'll put some money on the table. 20, 40, 60, 80 pounds.
Well, there's a fair distance away there.
What about 90 pounds?
No.
No. And here's David to give you
Just
a good
before
price.
you say anything, Dalton Lambeth, probably the very latter part of the 19th century, maybe early 20th century, but what an eye-popping example. It's got plenty of oomph about it. They say anywhere between the 120 to 180. I think what's on the table probably reflects what's happening in the sale room. Dalton Lambeth not doing that good, but this has got something about it. You never know. The right collector you need for this. I'm going to say to you, have a gamble, go to auction, but there's no guarantee.
Right, we've heard what David's got to say. If I take that 10 away, we've got 100. What about 110?
I'd like some more, please.
That's as far as I'm prepared to go. I think if you do take it to auction, it would have to do well over 120 to get that back for you, because there would be commission.
I think it'll do more. I think I'll take it to all.
All right, well, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Hope it does well for you.
I do as well.
Thank you.
Will wheeler dealer Keith reveal how much he paid?
You really had a great touch when you bought that.
Will his gamble pay off?
Straight in at 100. Good start.
And there's no stopping Mark.
450, 5, 550, 6, 650, 7.
Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal from North Wales.
Before the break, Keith tried to tempt Janice with a Royal Dalton vase he'd bought in a charity shop. But the £110 she offered didn't tempt him to deal.
I think it'll do more. I think I'll take it to all.
All right, well, good luck.
Will his gamble pay off? And just how much of a bargain did he get in the first place?
£90.
Now, we've got to know this. What did you pay for it at the charity shop?
10.
That was a fantastic buy. You really had a great touch when you bought that. OK, it's here in the sale room with a reserve of 120. Now, the question is, have you over-egged it? Should you have taken the 110 when you had the chance, or should you have gambled? I'm not so sure. I think it's going to be a close one. It's coming up now.
Beautiful vase, hasn't it? Lovely piece of Dalton. Commission bid starts me at £100. At £100.
Straight in at 100. Good start.
120 with me on commission at 120 bid.
We've made the reserve, so the judgment was right to gamble.
120 bid, are we 30? At 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 180 bid, and 180 bid, 180 bid. I'll ignite.
It's doing really well, £180.
90, 200, £200 and bid at 200. On the market, mind at £200 and sold.
£200 under the gavel. Are you happy with that?
Very happy, very happy.
What are you going to do with all that dosh? Are you going to scour those charity shops again?
Need a new tooth.
OK. It's going towards a new tooth. £200, take away the commission. I make that £176 that Keith is going home with, and he's getting a new tooth. Now, that is the real deal.
It's our last deal of the day, and Edith's looking to get top dollar from Mark.
I'm excited about meeting the dealer, and I expect about 850.
We've got a $20 American gold piece. It's not a bad coin, but it's quite heavy, so I think it's going to be based on the scrap value. Now, you bought me in a gold coin?
Yes.
An American $20?
That's right.
How did you come by it?
My husband bought it for me many, many years ago when we were first married.
And you've had it ever since?
I've had it ever since, yes.
Can I ask how many years?
Oh, well, I'm 89.
You look very well, I must say.
Yeah, and I was married when I was 19, and he bought it me 2 years after.
What, 68 years, I think, is that right?
Correct.
So it's been with you a long time?
A long time.
Has the mount been added a little bit more recent than that, hasn't it? I think the gold mount on the outside.
Yes, the mount, I think he had it done when we went to Spain one time.
Right. I mean, the mount is 9 carat gold.
Yes, yes.
The coin is 900 gold.
Yes.
Which is slightly lower than 22 carats, but the American coins and a lot of European coins are actually made of 900 gold. And we have two types of these. This is the American, what we call the Liberty Head $20.
Yes.
Dated 1902.
Yeah.
So in English time, that would be when Edward VII was coming to the throne in 1902, and we had the £5 pieces there, and you've got the $20 there from the American.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's nice. It's a nice thing. It's quite heavy. It's got a good bit of weight there. So it has a good value. So what are you going to do if you sell it to me? What are you going to do with the money?
I might just treat my family with this.
Bit of dinner?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Well, I better put some money on the table for you, Edith.
Yes.
Right, let's see what we got. 1, 150, 2, 250, 3, 350, 4, 450, 5, 550, 6, 650, 7, 750, 8, £850, Edith. We've got David coming in now, he's going to give you some advice.
Well, you know, normally I would say I'm here to protect, but in this case, she doesn't need any protection. What I can tell you is the value of the gold, the coin, and the 9-carat mount is about £908. So he's got a smile on his face now because he knows he's treating you very well. At £850, he's probably left himself about 58 quid's worth of profit. I'm going to say, I know you're a wheeler dealer, I know you're a barterer. Don't even think about bartering. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. He's entitled to that kind of money. Take his money.
Well, excellent advice. I haven't left myself a lot of profit, but I like to treat people fair if I can.
Yeah.
So, can we have a deal, Edith?
I think so.
You sure?
Yes, I'm
Good.
quite
That's fine.
happy.
Thank you very much
Thank
indeed.
you very much
Are you going to
indeed.
take the family out? Have a nice bit of dinner with that?
Yes.
Make sure it's a very good Italian or something like
I'll
that.
drink a toast too.
Bottle of red wine?
Yep.
Even champagne might be better.
Champagne better.
Good luck to you, Edith. Thank you.
With a tasty sum like that, you can afford second helpings, Edith. But have our dealers served up any good returns on the items they bought today? Only one item each for Janice and Debbie. Janice sold the painting, making a £20 profit. However, Debbie is still sitting pretty with the dressing table set.
It's going to be a fun thing to sell, I think.
Although she's had no joy finding a buyer, she's confident they won't be on the shelf for long. As for the boys, James made a tidy £20 on the christening cup.
So you want another tenner down there,
Yes.
do you?
More if you like.
No, certainly not.
But that's where his luck ended.
Sets of saccharometers are virtually unsaleable these days. Okay.
As predicted, finding a buyer for the saccharometer set has proved tricky, but not as tricky as getting an elephant in the boot of his car. While packing his trunk at the end of the day, he said goodbye to his profit.
Bad move.
Let's just say Nellie's at the restorers. Mark, however, is today's golden boy.
There's not a lot, but I definitely will earn a profit on this one.
He sold the Albert chain and fob for £500, then made another £60 selling the gold coin to an American for £910.
It's been a really busy day here in North Wales. A lot of fun, a lot of atmosphere, lots of bidding and buying. That's what I like to see. Don't forget to join me, David Dickinson, next time for Dickinson's Real Deal. See you